ಇನ್ನೇನಾದ್ರೂ ತೋಚಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿ. Yeah.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara.
Yes. So welcome to one more session. The last session of this one of the last sessions, concluding sessions of this chapter of Jnanajyoti. So today again we are taking up the topic of atmavichara and brahmavichara. Some of us will be talking on the atmavichara, some of us on brahmavichara, some of us on a combination of both. So it's promises to be an interesting session. So we shall open today's presentations with Kanti ji. Kanti is going to talk about brahmavichara, but before that, we need a volunteer to keep time. Someone who, yes, thank you so much. I was hoping you would. Right. So again, we have 7 minutes for the presentation. So you can give 6. At 6, you can show yellow, and at 7, you can give us red. Okay. Kanti, when you are ready, tell Anu and she shall, both of, yeah.
Yeah, I'll start now. Hari Om to all present here. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. Brahmavichara, Atmavichara. Space outside the house, space within the house. Brahma as the world, Brahma as Atma. Isn't Atman the Brahman? Should there be 2 different ways of brahmavichara and atmavichara? Though we have 2 approaches, different approaches, the purpose of both is the same. The brahmavichara and atmavichara is for liberation of jiva. So, my topic today is brahmavichara. To know more about that, with respect to universe, I am imperfect. So my purpose of life is to achieve perfection. How do I do that? With having the purity of heart and clarity in the intellect. But how can this happen? If I am as I am in this materialistic world, can it happen? There must be some support to us. So brahmavichara comes here. The 2 differences is with the brahmavichara and atmavichara is that the maturity of the individual. So the basis for brahmavichara is our own scriptures, the Vedas, Upanishads, and Brahma Sutras. Here, it is a very broad perspective with brahmavichara. That is, we have the universe. We'll be knowing, getting the knowledge about the universe, the cosmos. And then we come to the jiva or the individual. That is Ishvara, Jagat, and then the jiva. So a top-down process here. So here, what do we understand with the universe? The creation. How is it created? Why is it present? When was it? When will be dissolved? Everything about the universe, the Maya, the totality, the relationship between the inert and the non-inert, the Maya and the God. And we will be gaining the knowledge about the cosmos in a generalized approach. So here it is a generic way of understanding where we live. And in our living, we are connecting ourselves with the universe, the cosmos, the world to ourselves. That is the Jagat to ourselves. That is the top-down approach, as I said earlier. And this is based on the standard texts, that is Vedas, Upanishads, and Brahma Sutras. And what is the primary thing that we must have to understand these texts? That is, we must have the Shraddha, that is the faith in believing what is given in the scriptures, without which we cannot start that. So whatever is written in that is true. I must have the conviction and the belief that I will be following what is said there. So what do I follow? The rituals, the puja, the japa, tapa, yagna. All those are to be followed the way it has to be followed. You can think of a brahmachari or a pujari in a temple. What are the rituals that are being done? Or maybe at home, the Sandhya Vandana is done, or the puja, daily puja is done, or whatever the Vedas that we recite. It may be Purusha Sukta, whatever it is. Maybe all those are to be done the way it has to be done. So to follow this, there are different stages. And these are all the very important ones, and it has to be followed with all the Shraddha that is possible. This helps how? In attaining the emotional maturity. That is what we gain with these foundation that we get from the scriptures. And the stages are given to us. It is the Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga with Upasana, and this leads to Jnana Yoga. This helps the bhakti, the karma, all these helps in the purification, and we get the clarity. We don't get any doubt. Our doubts will be clarified, though we have many doubts. So the clarification of doubts happen, and for be it brahmavichara or atmavichara, without an enlightened guru, we cannot progress. So for progress, we need progress in spirituality. We need an enlightened master. It also requires the Shat Sampatti, the Shama, Dhamma, Titiksha, Upardi, Shraddha, and Samadhana, and Nishkama Karma. Along with that, if we progress with a strong conviction and belief in all the scriptures, then brahmavichara can be understood very well, and it can lead us to moksha. And it is a systematic addressing of various aspects, the doubts, the struggle. Why do we have all those? All those can be addressed very well. And Shravana Matrena Muktihi, with these scriptures, the knowledge of scriptures from an enlightened guru, we can get enlightened. But if we are matured enough, we can get it Shravana Matrena Muktihi, but Otherwise, we need to have manana and nididhyasana also. If I take up myself, individuals like me, can I just take up atmavichara and get enlightened? Maybe not. Can I do only brahmavichara? It takes a long time. So I need both vichara and atmavichara for my progress. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Hari Om.
Thank you, Kantiji. You can go with self-assessment first.
I think I took a little more time. Anu can tell me about that.
53 seconds more, 7 minutes, 53 seconds. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe that time was a little more. One sentence takes 10 seconds. So 2, 3 sentences extra take maybe. Then the clarity was okay. Then what else? I could not quote any example, I feel. Maybe from the scriptures, I could not quote, though I told the Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma or Shravana Matrena Mukti, there were no maybe the story or incidences that I could pick and give the example. Then what else? Maybe Vaniji can help in me know what improvement I can have.
Thank you, Kantiji. Anuji, will you ask the question near the Purva Pakshi for Kantiji?
Thanks, Yashmita. Kantiji, question would be like, I know you spoke about brahmavichara. What is the easiest method, like, for a layman? How do they understand easiest method to learn about brahmavichara in context to atmavichara? But you can focus on brahmavichara for me more.
So with atmavichara, the maturity level, at least the emotional balance has to be there. Then the atmavichara will be easy. Though atmavichara is, it seems to be very attractive and it seems very easy, but yet brahmavichara, the foundation is needed. Even when you are, if at all, a layman, like as you said, layman. So if at all that person needs some foundation, then brahmavichara is what is needed. Because from the scriptural foundation is what from where we can get the clarity and purity. So those doubts that arise can be clarified with the brahmavichara marga.
And the best approach for this marga? What is the best approach method? Like we call prakriya, right? What is the best method?
Atmavichara is the best one, because from samashti you go to veshti. That is, veshti is what individual is, what is jiva is what is concentrated upon, and that is more simpler than understanding all outside than inside. So like focusing on oneself, the self, who am I, is would be better, and that is the direct method, easier way.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Anuji. Vaniji, on feedback.
Yeah. So Kanti, very effective diction. The way you started off, crisp sentences, phrases, all that was very good. I had a question on the talk. Can I ask? Yeah. So you said that when we are doing any Vedic rituals or Vedic chanting, it should be done only in a certain way. So what did you mean by that?
Like Sandhya Vandana, it has to be done in the Sandhya Kala or in the morning, all those, and the way it has been prescribed. The Gayatri has to be told. There are some certain ways of doing things. So that has to be learned. You cannot do it in your own way. It cannot be customized. So you will have to follow Homa or Yagna if it is done. It has some ways the Vedic chanting has to be done. So all those has to be learned in the way it has to be told.
So
That is what I meant.
there are two approaches to any ritual, which is, can you define the two approaches? It can be done in two ways, any ritual or any practice. It can be done with two different kinds of intentions.
Like with Atma.
I'm asking the quiz master a quiz question.
No, I am not sure. With atmavichara, you don't need any of these rituals.
No, see, your talk was on brahmavichara.
Brahmavichara, yes.
So let us not go to atmavichara.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
that your opponent party or debater or whoever will talk. Okay, we'll leave it to them. So in brahmavichara, you were talking about Vedic rituals, etc., chanting, sadhana related to Vedic sadhana, whatever. So there are two ways, or with two intentions you can do the sadhana. Can you define those two?
no, I have no idea as to what are the two ways of rituals.
Any question goes to everybody else?
Maybe it's for seeking punya. They do certain rituals, and other one is nishkama karma.
Vaniji, are you talking about Shuddha Sankalpa and that part by any chance?
No, I'm talking about let's give a chance to everybody.
Are you talking about kamya karma and jagathita, lokahita?
Yeah, actually, I'm talking about one part. What Yashmita said is correct. You do
May I say
for
something?
iha para, punya,
Iha and
with
para.
certain definite results like putra kameshti yajna,
Yeah.
or I'm going to do something, I want a good job or a promotion, or so for that there will be some ritual, or I want to go to heaven, like in Kathopanishad. So you will have iha or para, here or after death. Rituals are prescribed for definite results, very well-defined results. So there, it is important to follow the ritual or chanting or prescription exactly. You have to dot all the I's and cross all the T's. Only then you will get that prescribed result. The other one is, Prabhuji has told us several times, it is with the intention of self-purification. All that you want from that sadhana is chitta shuddhi. You want self-purification. So in that case, that perfection is not required. Veda will allow you. It will say, all right, so it is for your self-purification. It is all right if you don't follow exactly like this, because you don't want that prescribed result. What you want is chitta shuddhi. Better focus of mind, vasanakshaya, concentration, mumukshutva should increase. So for that, then in that case, it doesn't really matter if you don't follow 100%. You still need to follow, but not like that 100% perfection.
That means mistakes are allowed.
It's not mistake. Customization will be allowed.
Oh, yeah.
Customization can be allowed. Whatever makes me feel will lead to more manolaya, more inner peace. Instead of chanting that entire Sahasranama, I come to one Nama which is giving me so much of peace and vibration inside or something, then I just start chanting that one Nama. So the focus is on inside, inner purity, inner impact, not on external results. So customization automatically starts coming into the practice. Yeah. So that's just a question, okay? But it was a good talk in the sense that you started off with a difference between atmavichara and brahmavichara. But probably you would have been more comfortable with the topic of atmavichara, I think. But the topic allotted to you was brahmavichara.
No, actually, last session I had got atmavichara, which I was very happy about. So I couldn't attend that day. So this time I got brahmavichara, which was a little disappointing actually.
That's the penalty for not
Yeah. That's what even I thought of.
Yeah. So I felt a little more focus could have been there, on the topic. It was a little going all over the place here, there. You started off in a very focused way, but after that, it was as though you're not zooming in, because brahmavichara is about the relationship between the jiva, the microcosm, and the macrocosm. So that relationship, the focus, there was not enough focus on that, I felt, in the talk. But otherwise, it was good, except for that. And your language and diction and everything is excellent. Your voice modulation, really excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaniji. Then the next speaker is Shailashri Ji, who will be talking about Atmavichara.
Hari Om, everyone. Today's my topic is about Atmavichara. Just now Kantiji spoke about Brahmavichara. Atmavichara, Brahmavichara are one and the same, but Brahmavichara is of a broader, it is into a broader section wherein Jagat, Ishvara, Jagat and Jiva comes into existence. Here in Atmavichara, it is specific. It is for an individual, wherein the individual inquires, who am I? This is Atmavichara, and Atmavichara is based on logic. Logic here means it is something which is not related with we put into some studies or whatever it is. Like, for example, a scientist or an engineer, whosoever it is, puts those logic into their experiments or into their studies. It is not that logic. This logic is something different. This logic is self-inquiry and to explore the reality, what is the truth. So this logic is something different. And in this, actually, sorry, I got confused, 1 second. Here, actually, logic, it is based, primarily it is based on logic, and it is not based on scriptures as it is in Brahmavichara. Here, the logic becomes the primary thing. For example, I can say how, and it is also based on Manana concept. How I can say is, see, how we can go into the self-inquiry, who am I? When I am not this body, mind, and intellect, then who am I? So we start inquiring ourselves. So here, Nanu, Nanembudu, Nanella, Ideha, Manabuddhi, Nanalla, Sachidanandatma, Shivananu, Nane, Shivoham, Shivoham, which is told by Guruji. What is this? Nanu, Nanembudu, Nanalla, Ideha, Manabuddhi. It means that I am not this body, I am not this intellect, I am not this mind, and I am the Shiva, the pure consciousness. And also, one more example I like to give. When Shankaracharya goes to his Guru Bal Shankar, when he meets him, so the first time his Guru asks him, who are you? So Shankaracharya, actually, he has made that Nirvanashtakam. He has told that Nirvanashtakam, And in that Nirvanashtakam, he tells that Mano Buddhi Ahankara Chittani Naham Nashrota Jihve Nacha Grana Nete Nacha Vyoma Bhumir Natejo Navayuhu Siddhananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Shivoham. It is the same thing. Nanu Nanambadu Nanalla. It has the same meaning as in Nirvanashtakam. So this is the logic we have to put into our lives. But is this atmavichara is applicable to everyone? No, it is not applicable to everyone. Why? Because who is logically mature, in one aspect, Guruji tells that who is logically mature, he can go into this atmavichara. And in the second step, he says that even if he is logically mature, but if his head is not free of thoughts and his heart is not pure, then what is the use? He cannot go for this atmavichara because he gets locked into that. Every time when he starts that self-inquiry in himself, he asks, who am I, who am I? But those thoughts or the vasanas keep coming in between and it will not make him move forward. So what is the next step? How we can go into this atmavichara? We can go into this atmavichara by a enlightened master. Who is this enlightened master? Who is already who is well versed in this atmavichara and who has attained the liberation. That person, if he is there in our lives, then he can show us the path of the atmavichara, and we can go into this atmavichara. We can go into the self-inquiry process. This self-inquiry process is not so easy as it is written by Ramana Maharshi. It looks as though it is very easy, but it is not easy, so easy. One more thing is, a person should be a matured soul, and matured soul means it is nothing but he should be emotionally matured enough. In today's society, there are no persons who are emotionally matured. Everything they have the intellect, whatever it is, they are very intelligent, whatever. But in today's society, we don't have such persons who are emotionally mature enough to have this atmavichara. To have this atmavichara, one should have attained emotional maturity. That is, already it is sent by Kantiji, that is the Shama, Samadama, Titiksha Uparati Samadhana. That is the Shat Sampatti he should have attained before. In Brahmavichara, it is the same thing, just I'm telling it for this one. In Brahmavichara, we go step by step so that we can attain those things. That is the Shraddha and this the Shat Sampattis, whatever is that, we can attain through Brahmavichara. But the person who doesn't have the belief in God, then he is nowhere. He cannot understand neither the Atmavichara nor the Brahmavichara. So in conclusion, this is the thing.
Thank you, Shailashri ji. Would you like to go with the self-assessment first?
My time taking.
You did exactly 7 minutes. Good.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I have given some examples in between. My eye contact, I don't know, I was okay, but in between I was not so good. And clarity wise, yeah, in between I paused because I got confused in between. And the content, whatever it was based on Guruji's talk. So I have taken that itself. So to my knowledge, whatever I came to know, have covered here.
Yeah, thank you.
So Vani ma'am has to give the feedback about this.
Sure, Shailashri ji. Satyavati ji, you have any questions for
Yeah, Yashmita. Yeah, Shailashri ji, you were saying about how the seeker should be to pursue this atmavichara marga. So you were saying that he has to have this logic, he has to be logically matured, emotionally matured, and all that. So do you think that if a person is not logically and emotionally matured, then he cannot pursue this path?
No, he'll get entangled in that.
How do you know
Because-
that you are logically matured?
Yeah, that's what is the reason that the jnana should come into the place wherein it plays a very important role. See, I am also in ABSC, so I cannot say that I'm logically matured or whatever. So it is. See, vasanas come and it keeps on coming. It keeps on coming. It doesn't go at all. It will not go. I know, but a real jnani knows that what I have to take and what not I have to take. See, I might not be a jnani. I know that because sometimes we start speaking about it. Yes, that is the truth. But a real jnani never speaks about it. He knows these are the vasanas and I should not get entangled into it. It doesn't mean that jnani doesn't get any thoughts at all. He also gets it. But the one thing is he knows wherein to cut off. But as we are not logically enough, we are not logically mature, we don't know how to cut off those vasanas. So we need an enlightened master for that. So to show us the path, that is the thing.
Okay. Thank you.
any other questions for Shailashri ji? Okay, then we move ahead. Avani ji, your feedback.
Yeah, Shailashri, it was a good talk. The confusion is okay because you looked at your notes in between and you corrected.
Yeah, but this was a new topic for me, ma'am, this time, and I was a bit confused. I had put message to Purnima ji or something.
No problem. That's okay. So that part was okay. Your language was simple, diction was good, and points were good. And the way you compared Manobuddhi, Ahankara, and then you said the entire gist is there in Nanu Nanembudu Nanalla. So that was all very well done. The only little cautionary thing I would say is, in today's world, there is nobody who is logically mature. There is no one who is emotionally mature. To make such statements may not be such a good idea. We can say there are very few who are logically mature or very few who are emotionally mature. That also could be acceptable. But if you make a completely blanket statement, first of all, it's not true because there will be people who are. And secondly, the audience will get put off.
Okay, sure.
They'll start thinking, okay, this person is, what shall we say, a little fanatic in approach, or such labels can come very easily by using.
Sure, I'll try doing that. Okay, yes.
Otherwise, good. And don't get.
Actually, I was not into that meaning. Actually, I didn't wanted that. I was not in that intention. Just wanted to state.
Not that you wanted to say that. Yes. I understand that. That's why I said better to be a little cautious about this.
Yes, sure, ma'am. Sure.
And also don't get diffident that this is a new topic.
Okay.
Because actually it's not new to you. All of Prabhuji's teachings are about Atmavichara and Brahmavichara.
Yes, true. That is true.
And you have understood because you brought in all the right things. Okay. So it is not that you have been going on listening, you are immersed in it.
Yes, true. That is true.
You shouldn't feel that it is new to you. And if you feel it also, you use it as a opportunity to explore. Don't let it make you lose confidence. On the other hand, it should feel exciting to you. Oh, it's something new. Okay, what can I say about this? It's nice. I can explore this and see what points I can get.
Sure. Done.
That's
Thank you, ma'am.
mainly
Thank you
from
very
the
much.
speaking point of view. Those are the two things I wanted.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Aniji. Sharavananji, would you want to go now or later?
Yeah, sure, I can go.
Yeah, thank you. Sharavananji will be talking about atmavichara from Bhagavad Gita point of view.
Okay. Hari Om all. So the topic I've selected is atmavichara. What is it? Like, it's basically the inquiry into the truth. What truth are we talking about? The truth about what is real and unreal. And why is this question even there? Right? If we go into that, you see that a common man today goes through the suffering because of this confusion. And the confusion lies in, like, what I see, what I can touch, feel, hear is real. Right? And that is the confusion. Right? And to give this clarity, I'll start with the definition of what is real. Real should be something that once I describe should not change. Right? And if I say something today about something, at any point of time, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years down the line, so we should be able to identify it. And to give an example, let's take our own body, which is where the confusion starts. Right? Let's say there is a description of a person at 5 years old. After 50 years old, if I give this description and say, hey, find this individual, can someone find it? Absolutely no. Why? Because the body has changed. It continues to change, and it has changed. That is exactly a classic example of what is unreal. And now the question may come that, hey, if are you like denying the existence of the individual? Exactly, no, I'm not denying the existence of the individual, but the denying the body, which you are taking as the real. Because the individual still has identity. He's able to, the individual knows how he was at 5 years old and how he is now, and able to recollect all the experiences. Right? That existence I'm not denying. So if I'm denying the body, then how is this person getting the existence? Exactly. That one, the one that gave that existence to this individual, and which has not changed, due to which he is able to describe, is the one that we are going to talk about, which is the real one. Right? And to give a name, we will refer it as Atma. In the context of the body, it's referred as Atma. Now the question may come, oh, okay, so I can see that the body is changing. It's not real, and there is something which is giving me this existence, and it has not changed, due to which I have that awareness that I was so and so, and I am today like this. Where is this then? Where is it in the body? So the answer lies in, it's not a body part like a hand or leg or brain. Rather, it's there everywhere in the body. In fact, it's the other way. The body is superimposed on that. Right? The body is projected on that. And that's the one that gives life to the body. And it is there everywhere. And in the context of body, we call it Atma, while outside the body and the totality, we call it as Brahman. So now it's interesting. So this thing, it is there, but I cannot see it. But what I can see it, you're saying it as unreal. Tell me more about this real. Can I experience it? How do I know? Like, where is it? I cannot see it, you're saying. Or it's there everywhere, you're saying. How do I experience it? Right? The classic example is like, you take the movie that is projected on the screen. Right? The movie is there because of the screen, but when you're seeing the movie, you're not seeing the screen. Right? The screen is there, which is the very reason why you're able to see the movie. Very similarly, this is the basic one on which the body is projected, and it is there throughout, and it has not changed. Right? It doesn't age like every other body part, which means it has no death. So it was never born as well. So if it is no death, it is there forever. And he said, it is there everywhere. It has no limit, infinite. And okay, that sounds interesting. It is there everywhere. It is like, doesn't age. Fantastic. Right? And I cannot, but I cannot experience it. Yes. The reason is it's not an object. It is the very subject due to which all the experiences happen. It is the knower. And that one is you only. What you've been thinking so far, that I'm this body, like with all these problems and health problems, and I'm aging and I have to take care. That is the unreal. And the real one is that which has never changed, which is the one that has given me the existence. Okay, so interesting that it is it is always there, and like it is the one that is experiencing. Why did this whole confusion start then? Why is that like it is not visible or it is obvious and everything else is happening like this? And that comes from the power of Maya, which is displayed by the mind here, which basically hides the real, right? Avarana Shakti, and like and projects the unreal as the real. Right? It comes from the mind. And due to which what happens is the individuals start denying the existence, denying the real one, right? And denying the real one leads to a major error. And not only denying the real one, accepting the unreal one which never existed. Okay, so this is exactly what Arjuna went through. He was at the war field. He was confused. Right, and that confusion led to him surrendering to Krishna and saying, like, Krishna, I am unable to see and do my duties. Please help me. And that's where Krishna gives this knowledge that the wise man who have inquired into the truth, they know that the unreal never existed, while the real never ceased to exist. That gave clarity to Arjuna. And he was able to see things very clearly, and he was able to fight the war and win. So the takeaway, the message for all of us is, know that, okay, and which will basically erase the ignorance and give you the knowledge with which everyone can be at peace, and reach a state of liberation, where like you come out of the samsara of all the problems. You are not tied up to anything. The whole drama is being played on you, on the Atma, while you are not at all affected. Like how the screen is not affected by what movie is played. There is a terror movie, there is happy incident, sad incident. The screen is unaffected totally. Like that, the Atma is unaffected by all these happenings. I think we can keep talking more about it, but this is the message that I want to give with this talk, that be that real. Remember the Mahavakya, Brahma Satyam, Brahman alone is Satyam, and Jagam is Mithya. Hari Om.
Thank you, Saravanan-ji. Nice talk. And Pratibha-ji, you have you can go with your self-assessment first.
Yeah, with all my multiple retakes, I think I managed to finish without rushing through. That was the. This subject is so big. I was just getting so many examples, and I wanted to talk about the pot and how space in and out of the pot, and like I wanted to share, compare that with the Atma, Brahma. I was trying to be careful what not to, where to stop and try to finish without rushing. So I feel like happy from that point of view. That was my biggest worry, but. So otherwise, the talk, I structured it is basically the way I wanted to structure it is like start with summary of problem statement, and like what is atmavichara, why should we do it, and like where is this Atma, and like why don't I experience it, and like how do we experience it, why did this confusion happen, and what is the solution and conclusion. That's the structure I wanted to give. Relevance of the content and focus, yeah, I just stayed on it. As Swaniji said, like almost all talks leads to this. So It's like if I have listened to Guruji's talks for 3.5 years, I'm trying to talk in 5 minutes. And simplicity, clarity. This topic I love talking. I somehow like I started talking about this with my close friends as well. Somehow it takes me there, and there is a close group who are tolerant to me, to listening to me. So I talk about this a lot. Fluency and language skills. Yeah, I'm very comfortable with this topic. Time management. Yeah, managed it. Relevance of day-to-day examples. Yeah, that's how the whole thing started. There was a bigger example I wanted to start, which is like a friend telling me having problems, unable to satisfy my boss, wife at home, my doctor is worried about my body. Right? To some extent, that's how I started. It was my own example. But I cut all those things. Vedantic metaphors. Yeah, I just used one, which is the superimposing of a movie on the screen. Quote from scriptures. I didn't quote the Gita. I wanted to say it was, but I just gave the message of the Gita. Ability, lives from the enlightened masters. I didn't specifically talk about it.
Sharavananji,
Yeah.
I think we are taking a lot of time. See, I have put the latest checklist, which is just 7 points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the original one has a 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I didn't. I didn't look into the notes. I was okay, and voice modulation, expressiveness. I managed and made eye contact. I think I didn't see anything. Only looking at the screen, at the camera, and hold the interest of the audience. I don't know. I'll find out. Yeah, I think that should be it. I'll stop there.
Thank you, Sharavananji. Pratibha ji, you have any questions?
Right now, I'm not getting any questions right now. Can anybody ask? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We can reserve that, no, for later also.
Yeah, we can actually.
Speakers, so it's already kind of.
Can take on chat as well. Yeah. Thank you.
No, we'll open it up later also. People can think of it for Sharavananji. Unless somebody has right now.
Sure then. Vani ji, feedback.
Ramananji, excellent talk. Really super.
Thank you.
Because the way you took up with an example and you kept it simple, focused, and you said you'll find out whether audience was interested. Yes, audience was very interested. It was very engaging. The entire thing was very engaging. How you brought in examples and gave the message of the Bhagavad Gita. Yes, you didn't quote it. It would have been nice if you could have brought in one quote. But in spite of that, you compared it so well to Arjuna's situation, and you brought out the essence of the Gita, that changing and unchanging. So it was really well done. Only thing is, in the end, you said Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. The second line also was important. Jiva Brahmaiva na paraha. So that would have taken 10 seconds extra, and you could have added it. That's the only thing. But I really superb talk. Very focused, very comfortable. Even the way the pacing, sometimes it would be brisk, and sometimes to ask a question you would slow down. Then again you would pick up pace. All that was part of how you engage the audience. Voice modulation was great. Language was great. Really nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vani ji. Thank you, Sharavananji. The next speaker is Shobana ji, who will be talking about brahmavichara as per Bhagavad Gita.
Ready?
Etam vibhotim yogam cha manuyo vetti tattvataha sovikampena yogena yujyate natra samsayaha. So, one who knows the truth of this glory acquires unshakable faith and understands the various manifestations and gets united with him and attains eternal bliss and harmony. The 10th chapter is based on brahmavichara. The shloka which I just recited was from the 10th chapter. It is the 7th shloka. And all the chapters in Bhagavad Gita are addressed as yoga. So this particular chapter is called as Vibhuti Yoga. What is Vibhuti? Vibhuti is made up of two words, Vibhu, the Parabrahma himself, and Bhuta. Together, it says the different forms and manifestations of Bhagavan himself, Parabrahma himself. In the 9th chapter, we were explained about the creation. This chapter, the Vibhuti Yoga, talks about the Parabrahmas, Krishna's various manifestation, his own self in different forms. So Vibhuti Yoga becomes a very important chapter when we are studying about Bhagavad Gita. So here, I'll be using a little bit of the text and looking into it. There are two important facts in Vibhuti Yoga. First, the creation of the universe and how the manifestations, the different forms of the Lord which the creation shows. Now, the creation of universe was quite complex. It came out from the a small energy form from inside the Parabrahma himself, and it manifested itself in various different forms. Now, Parabrahma Krishna declares that entire creation is his manifestation only. Every small thing, the inanimate, animate, the living and non-living thing, the gross, and every small little molecule and atom is his manifestation. He speaks about various ways in which he has come manifested himself. A small ketas, that is the insects, small to big Himalayas, and the Meru Parvata, how he has brought himself into the living world, the gross world that we are experiencing in this Maya Loka. Now, here, Maya Tattvam Sarvam Jagat Avyakta Murtina, he says in 7th chapter, 7th shloka. Sarvamidam priyam priyam sutre manigala iva. That is, I am like the thread which is holding the beads. Each bead has to, I have to go through each bead to form that beaded necklace. So in everything that we see in this entire universe, there is that thin thread of the Bhagavan, the existence, consciousness, which is holding on. So then he explains that no Rishi or no Deva knows about actually what he is, how he is. There is no, he is unborn and beginningless. There is no beginning, there is no birth. Nothing is known about the entire existence. The formlessness is what he is talking about. All the qualities, the understanding, wisdom, happiness, sadness, all the senses are his manifestation only. So, Arjuna asked Bhagwan to teach about himself and his glories. He asked him to tell him how to meditate upon and which form he should use. Then Bhagwan gives many examples. He says, any of them, any one of them we can pick up and meditate upon and reach him. But he explains about these different manifestations. It's a long list, and he has explained in verses 20 to 39 in the chapter 10. He says, I am Vishnu in the 12 putras of Aditi. He says, I am Narada, then Brigu, the first in Saptarishis, then Indra, the first in Devatas, then Ashwatthavriksha in the trees, then in Rajas, he is Airavata, Agni, and Ucheshvara, the horses. So like this, he describes and he says he is the first among all the manifestations. So the one who knows about these manifestations and the magnanimity of the Lord, the Ardhanarishvara Tattva and Shiva Shaktaikya Swarupa of the Lord gets established in him. That is, the Lord says, those who dwell in him and surrender to him are graced with jnana, destroying the darkness of ignorance by shining the lamp of wisdom. Antarjyoti, Bahirjyoti, Pratyajyoti, Paratpara. And then, when does this happen? It happens when, as we practice the meditation and realize that it is he who manifests himself in all different ways and realizes internally and externally Sarvam Khalvida Brahma, and thereby goes on practicing the Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa. There comes a time when Sadguru arrives and holds the hand and takes through the Jnana Marga, so that we realize Nanu Nanembudu Nanalla, Ideha Manabuddhi Nanalla, Sachidananda Atma Shivananu Shivoham Shivoham Shivoham. Thank you.
Thank you, Shobhanaji. Would you like to go with your self-assessment first?
Yeah, I had a good content, but I was a little bit anxious today. And I was also referring to my book. I think voice modulation is okay. And body language, Vani madam has to tell me. I wanted to actually use a visual aid. I had actually kept it ready, but then due to that little anxiety, I said, okay, let it be there. Then other things, inspire the audience, appealing to the noble motives. You all have to tell me. Thank you. Vani ma'am.
Thank you, Shobhanaji. Shravanji, any questions?
It's a wonderful talk. Whatever most of the questions that I thought would ask, she already exhibited a very, very deep understanding of that. So it's fine. It's very good. I have no questions.
Thank you, Shravanji. Vaniji, over to you for the feedback.
Yeah, I have a question. Whatever you told us, referring to the Gita with various slokas, etc. So, can you give a day-to-day example to explain the same thing?
I wanted to give one example of these plants. I have this habit of going and saying silently, I talk to the plants, the flowers, and tulsi plant especially. I had shared it long back in the VSC program also. This I had shifted my house about a year and a half back. That time I had got a tulsi plant which was not doing well. It was a little shriveled and all. Then I said, okay, I'll put it in the tulsi, that Vrindavana. And then every day I started going and talking. See, I have put you here. And then you are my mother's representation. I had brought that tulsi plant from my mother's house. Long back, 30-year-old, that is still going on. She had it, so I got it from there. So I said, please revive yourself. You and I are one and the same. So I want that you take care of yourself and come up. My all energies are with you and it is blooming. It has really grown up very well. Even today, I think about the first day when I started doing that. Thank you.
Excellent. So I think,
and I believe in it, ma'am. Like I had read this book called James Redfield had written this Celestine Prophecy. In this, he talks about plants getting revived and talking to the plants, giving life to the plants by talking, and how they respond. Really, they move and bend towards us when we go and talk to them. It happens every day like that. Thank you.
see now, where is your nervousness? All gone.
It's grace of Guruji. I just said Krishna Atmanam and gave it to Guruji.
Yeah, so if you had included more such day-to-day examples with which you feel very comfortable because you believe in it and it is your own experience. So when you include such things, automatically you don't feel so nervous, right? So it's because you had so many shlokas and you have to pronounce each word correctly. You're not so familiar with it. It happens to me also. So then you start feeling nervous. Will I get it right? Will I not be able to say the shloka correctly? So then the whole thing assumes one, like an ogre, some monster over there. It starts feeling threatening. So you need to make the talk enjoyable for yourself also. So that will happen when you include more familiar content. Have a shloka. I'm not saying don't have it. But if you fill the talk with a lot of unfamiliar shlokas, then you start feeling more nervous, more diffident.
I'll keep it in mind.
Yeah. Otherwise, your content was excellent.
Thank you.
So it would have been even better. Now you see how nicely you spoke about it. It was a great pleasure to listen to you answering that question. So just add a lot of whatever you're familiar with, whatever inspires you, whatever you believe in, whatever might engage the audience. So add more of that content and then have a little bit of the unfamiliar also, not that you shouldn't have it. Right?
Thank you, Vani.
Great job answering the question and great job preparing the talk also. So much information you have to collect. Summarizing that 10th chapter is the most difficult to summarize, actually. So you did a good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaniji. So the last talk today is by Purnima-ji on Atmavichara.
Hari Om all. So, like Sharaman ji said, it's the most favorite topic for all of us to talk about because I'm talking about myself, right? That's why. So, yes, here goes. My grandpa, one of my grandpas, I have two, of course. So one of them was a station master. He retired as a station master, and we grew up listening to stories about his time as a station master. And he used to tell us, from the time when the steam engines came, that was the first the steam engines, the huffing and puffing, and people used to put coal, laborers used to put coal, and it made an awful sound, awesome sound, pulling all those coaches. From then to the latest, smart electric, coaches and carriages and all that. And he used to regale us with stories of how, the fights that used to happen on the platform, and the goodbyes, the hellos, and so many emotions going on when the train offloaded its passengers or when it took more passengers. Very interesting. And he used to tell us about majorly the three kinds of trains that used to come. One was the passenger train. It used to be the most noisy. It used to have the most number of people hanging on, to the, the unreserved compartment, having a lots of people, and people, spilling out into the platform and making a lot of noise, so much commotion. And then there was the other kind of train, which was the goods train. The goods train was kind of, quieter than the passenger train, and not too much, quietly the laborers would sip, do their beedies. With their beedies, they used to offload the goods and carry on with their work, and not too many people interacting there. And then there were times when there were absolutely no trains coming at all. Peaceful platform used to be simple, peaceful. Just people who are waiting for the next train, just going to sleep, dozing off in the hot afternoon sun or whatever, or in the night. So these are the kind of stories we used to listen from the station master. So from the grandpa. So we used to ask him, then how were you, how did you feel about all these happenings all the time? You were exposed to so much commotion throughout your entire life. How did you deal with it? He said, nothing. I did nothing. I was just standing. My job was to just flag off the trains, just keep note that this has come and this has gone and the next one is coming, next one is going. That was my job. I was not disturbed. I guess that was my first lesson in atmavichara, right? So the passenger train is the busy mind, which has a lot of thoughts, and it offloads onto the platform, and it goes. And then the goods train is like my dream time, when I have some vague dreams, vague thoughts, which I don't pay too much attention to. That also is offloaded and it's gone. And when there are no trains at all, it's like my deep sleep state, when I am not aware of anything that is happening. But then I am neither the passenger train, neither am I the goods train, nor am I the no train situation. I'm the station master who's just watching everything and not reacting to anything, just quietly witnessing the entire activity. That is the atmavichara that my grandpa taught me. You are just a witness to all the things that is happening in your mind. When you're awake, your mind is extremely active. It is reacting and responding to all the sense inputs that it's getting. And when you're sleeping, again, the mind is in a subtle form. It is still active, but it is very vague, and you're not really affected by it. And then when you're sleeping, there's nothing. That mind has gone into a causal state. This is what is the real nature. Your real nature is the one who is just standing and witnessing, or it's all happening on the screen of consciousness. So this is the basic lesson of atmavichara. The Ashtavakra Gita is it's considered the greatest non-dual text in among the scriptures. And in that, the Guru, Ashtavakra, in the first chapter, gives this lesson of the station master being a witness kind of lesson to his student, Janaka Maharaja. Just the first chapter. From the second chapter onwards, just the first chapter, and Janaka is enlightened. And in the second chapter onwards, Janaka starts talking about his enlightenment, with great vigor. The rest of the Ashtavakra this Gita is all about Janaka's explanation of his enlightenment. And in that, Janaka says, I have realized that bodha matraha aham. I am just the knower of things. Like how Prabhuji says, I am gotai tapa. I am not the one who is experiencing any of that. I am not the one who is doing any of that. I am neither the karta nor the bhokta. I am just the knower. I am the kshetrajna. I am not the kshetra. I am. So that is abodha matraha aham. I am gottaitappa. Whatever is happening, gottaitappa. Oh, I saw something coming, gottaitu. I saw something going, gottaitu. Even if that gottaitu is about this own body-mind complex, which this gottaitappa is inhabiting for the time being. The same body-mind, even the things happening to the body-mind complex, gottaitappa. So that is how Janaka says, Yevam vimarshatam nityam. Think about this gottaitappa state of yours all the time, whenever you have time, think about this. Vimarshatam, debate about it. You do manana about it. You contemplate about it. Evam vimarshatam nityam. Why? Because ajnanat upadi kalpitam maya. Because in my ajnana, in my state of ignorance, I have superimposed the body, mind, and intellect, the complex, the body-mind complex on this gottaitappa, on this witness consciousness. Taking into account that I am the unchanging witness behind all the happenings that are happening to the body, mind, and intellect complex, let me stay as the witness, the gottaitappa, and understand it just by looking at my waking, dreaming, and deep sleep states, and knowing that through all these states, nothing has happened to the screen that I am, to the consciousness that I am, and all the activity is happening on this screen of consciousness, which is Niranjana, Nishkalanka, and Nitya. Nothing is happening to it at all. It is the station master who is just noting everything down. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Purnamaji. Self-assessment.
Oh, yeah. Talk structure, clarity, simplicity. I hope I managed that. Vedantic day-to-day examples. Yeah, it was all about the day-to-day station master's life. How to implement in daily life? Yes, you have to vimarshat, evam vimarshatyam nityam. You have to think about it every day and apply it in your life. Use body language. I guess I use it too much. Modulate voice volume. Yeah, all that I have done. Visual aid. I didn't think it was necessary for this little talk. Notes. No, I did not use notes. Inspire the audience. I hope so. Use logic to communicate clearly and appeal to the audience. Over to the audience. Yes.
Thank you, Purnamaji. No questions, actually.
All right.
I have one question, Purnamaji.
Yes.
I am, Prabhuji says, I am neither the doer, knower, experiencer, or the knower. But here, you're saying Bodha Matram is that I am only the knower. Is that it, or there is something beyond?
I'm just the knower. I'm Bodha Matraha. I'm the one who knows. Oh, you mean, yeah, I'm not the Karta, I'm not the Bhokta.
No.
I'm the Jnata.
I am not the Gnata is also to be realized.
Also. Yeah. I'm not the Gnata is also to be realized. Okay. But as long as I'm in the BMI, I guess I can take as I'm just the knower. I'm just the witness. Beyond the witness, of course, you have to go beyond the witness stage as well. Is that what you're trying to tell me? I mean,
yes.
Right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. But right now, at least to go to the Sakshi stage itself is a huge
This
step.
knower is a bit different, right?
Yeah, no is different from that.
This knower is the ego saying, I know.
See,
this jnata.
The knower is, the language has become a little bit of a problem. The knower in the sense, the knower of the limited BMI is actually called the pramata. But here we are talking about the sakshi as the knower, as the witness, Bodha matra is what? I see something, I know about it. That's it. There is no judgment. There is no giving it a name, form. that kind of activity is not happening. Am I making any sense?
Guruji said Gottaitapa means in English it is awareness.
Thank you,
Right,
Pratibha.
that's what
That
it
is the word. Very, very beautiful. Right. You're right, Pratibha. Awareness. I'm just the awareness, not the knower. Okay. Agreed.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shravanshi and also Pratibha. Right.
Vaniji, feedback.
Yeah, so it was a amazing talk in the sense of how you began with the station master, who was your grandfather, and then you later linked it up to exactly what you wanted to say from the topic angle. So it was all quite a tightly knit talk. And I felt it was very engaging also, because you carried, just like the train carries all of us, you carried us from the beginning to the end with you, except for the little bit of confusion about the knower and awareness. And I felt
Awareness was very crucial, actually. I should have used that word. Correct.
yeah. So, in fact, I was thinking it is awareness only you're talking about. All along.
I was.
Okay. So, only thing is, I felt that in the beginning example, when you're talking about the train and the station and the commotion, maybe a little too much time was taken for that. A little bit more than what was required. It could have been a little more brief. Then you would have got maybe a half a minute or a minute or so extra for the later part. But otherwise, I think it was an excellent talk and I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vaniji.
Only Sharavanan has got no questions from anyone. All right. I guess we are good. So the next talk, the next session will be a bit different, right, Vani? You want to?
Purnima, we'll end the session and then we can talk about it. End
All
the
right.
session with a prayer.
Yeah.
Okay. Nanu nanembudu nanalla ideha manabuddhi nanalla Satchidanandatma Shivananu Nane Shivoham 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 Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.